Hi guys, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be teaching us how to cut and sew the lower part of this dress, which is a ruffled skirt. So I'll be showing us how to draw the pattern and how to go about the ruffling. Yeah, right. So for the upper part of the dress, it's an off-shoulder dress, and I've done several tutorials on how to draft and sew an off-shoulder bodice. So I will drop the link to my previous tutorial on how to draft an off-shoulder bodice in the description box. Very simple tutorial, but basically today I'll be showing us how to draft the lower part of the dress, which is the skirt, and then how to make the ruffles. So the lower part of the dress is an A-line skirt. Yeah, can be an A-line skirt, can be quarter circle skirt, can be half circle skirt, depending on the full length you want to work with. Okay, so but we for this dress we're going to be using the A-line skirt method. Okay, so now I want to draft the front pattern of the skirt. So this is going to be my center front. Okay, and then I'm using a smaller version. Okay, what I'm saying is, obviously this pattern paper is not the size of the skirts in the picture, right? But it's the same technique. So I'm using a smaller or a reduced version. So the top part there is going to serve as my waistline here. Okay, and this is center front. So now for the A-line skirt, you do not need the hip line. Yeah, all you need is the waistline and the hemline. Okay, so make sure you measure your full length, which is from your shoulder to the floor length. Okay, now to draft the skirt, you are going to remove the length of the bodice. Okay, now this skirt, we don't need that. Okay, so you just mark quarter of your waist circumference plus 1 inch for size seam allowance. You don't need that. Then on the hemline, or before I go ahead to do that, I'm going to take away the length of my bodice. Okay, so let's say the length of my the bodice is 17 inches, and the assumption. Okay, and we all know that hip depth for dresses is 24 inches. So the hip depth is where your hip line will be, but we don't even need it anyway. And this is the hemline. Okay, so this is my hemline, which is supposed to be the floor length, right? Now on the hemline, you're going to mark half of your hip circumference measurement. Usually when we're drafting a pencil skirt or any skirt, on the hemline we mark quarter of the hip, right? But this is an inline skirt. The hemline is wide. Okay, so you should do at least half of the hip circumference. So I'm marking 10 twice, because quarter of my hip is 10, so half of my hip will be what, 20. I hope it's making sense. Now I'm linking my waist to the hip line like so. Okay, then for the hemline, you don't want it having that very straight look, right? So we're going to reshape it. So let me go over that again. I said the hip depth is 24 inches. Okay, now you want to cross check if on the hip line what you have there is up to quarter of your hip plus maybe probably 1 inch for seam allowance and ease. Okay, you should just check that. Yeah, now I'm going to reshape the hemline. I'll come up by 1 inch. Okay, and then I'll use my curved ruler to create a slant or a curve, whichever one is fine by you. Okay, so this way my skirt is not looking, all straight at the hemline. So this is the front pattern. I'm going to cut it out. Then we're going to use the front pattern to cut out the back pattern. This is the front, and it's going to be cut on fold. You're cutting this will be on fold. Then for the back, all you need to do is to add your 1 inch zipper allowance. So I'm placing my pattern on the back like this, and then I will pin the front to the back, the front to the paper underneath. So I'm measuring my 1 inch for zipper before I pin it down. Okay, and then yeah, here too I'm measuring my 1 inch for zipper, and I'm going to pin it down. So the difference between the front and back pattern now is going to be the zipper allowance. Okay, so I'm just going to cut out. So I've already cut out and I've already transferred it to my fabric. So for the front pattern, okay, my front is on fold. That's the white fabric, and the back is the black fabric. Now this is intentional. I wanted us to see the difference because it's a tutorial. So my front is unfold here, and of course the back, you're gonna have two pieces. Now if you look at the skirt properly, it has an opening in front, more like a slit sort of. So you fold the fabric into two, and then you determine where you want the slit to start from, and the slit is centralized at the center front. So I'm going to measure my shoulder to my knee line. That is, if I want the slit to start from the knee line or above the knee, wherever, just mark it and then create like a slight curve. Did you see the way I cut it all the way down, like so? Okay, so this is going to be the front piece. Okay, it's going to be like this. Okay, so next step, I'm going to be joining the front and back together at the sides. So I know some people will be wondering, why am I using two different colors of fabric? Yeah, I said it's a tutorial. If I'd use white all through or black all through, you might not be able to see, the details. So here, I've joined the front and back together at the sides. Okay. Yeah, so that's just one part of the tutorial. Now the major part of the tutorial, which I know most of us will be interested in, is the making of the ruffles. Now for the ruffles, it's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm just still showing us the skirt to see how it looks like. For the ruffles, you need to work with tulle, mesh, veil net. People call it different names. Want to make something like this, okay, and I arrange it on the skirt. So I will show us how to do that. Now to make the ruffles is very easy. For that particular style in the picture, you might be using close to 100 yards of ruffle tulle, like that much. But I'll just be showing us a little. So this is my tulle. Okay, now you're gonna cut out long stripes of your veil nets. Okay, and for the width of the stripes, it actually depends on the width you want to work with. But for the one in the picture, you can just do like 5-6 inches for the width. Okay, it's fine, 5 or 6 inches. So you're gonna cut out long stripes. Now the longer the stripes, the better, because it will reduce the number of joining you're going to have, but it doesn't really matter anyway. So here I've already cut out my stripes, you can see. So the longer the better. Okay, so but irrespective, you still need to have some joinings at some point. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine now. I'll show us how I'll first of all join all the stripes together to give me one very long piece. I'm not saying that if you cut out 20 yards that you should join all 20 yards into one long piece, no, but at least you should have long pieces anyway. So now I'm going to be joining the pieces together, you can see. So sorry, pardon me, I'm using a contrasting color of thread. Yeah, so I'm going to join like so. So after you join, you pick another piece again and join. The essence is to have a very long piece, except you want to fold 20 yards of tulle and then cut horizontally like that. Then you have a very long piece. So just do what works for you anyway. So I'll keep joining the pieces till I have a very long piece, and then we move ahead to the making of the ruffles. Now for the ruffles, you can make use of a ruffler. Yeah, there's an industrial ruffler that ruffles tulle, or you can ruffle it manually. Okay, which is what I'm going to show us how to do, because I know some people might not have an industrial ruffler, so I want to carry everybody along. Yeah, so this is it here. Now for ruffling, you can ruffle at the top of the tulle or at the middle, but for this tutorial we're ruffling at the middle of the tulle. So if my tulle is 6 inches wide, that means that will be 3 at the 3-inch mark. Okay, so you make tiny place like so, and then you sew. Can you see what I'm doing now? The fuller the finer, and trust me, you're gonna consume more fabric. Okay, but you can also make it scanty, depends. So how full you gather it to determine the fullness. Okay, so you just keep doing it like this. Make sure you're ruffling at the middle. You can see the way I'm pleating it. Okay, and then you sew like so. It's a very I don't want to use tedious work. Yeah, it is gonna be tedious, but the outcome is always very nice. So this is how you're going to be ruffling it. So don't forget, you are ruffling at the middle So this is what you are going to have. Okay, so just see, this is just 1 yard, and look at how tiny it looks like. I say you're going to consume fabric, I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so yeah, now I'm going to get the skirt and show us how to attach it to the skirts. For the attachment, it's very easy. You're going to be attaching it in a circular form. Some people do it horizontally, but for this style, it's in a circular form. So we're going to start attaching it from the hemline, okay, from where the slit is there. Now, you will place the ruffle at the middle, like that, at the middle where we ruffle the organize it. You place it like ½ inch on the skirt. Meanwhile, before you start doing this, you must have lined your skirts, okay, because you don't want to sew and leave the edges rough like that. You must have lined your skirts, or if you don't want to line it, you must have use an industrial locker to lock all the rough edges before you start the ruffling. So here you can see I'm sewing on the skirts. This like 1 inch away from the edge of my slits, and I'm sewing on the ruffled part, that's the middle. Okay, so you just sew. You can see that I used another contrasting color of too. If I had used one color all through, we might not see get the detail of the tutorial properly. So here, so I'm just sewing along the curve of my slits. Okay, so there, just keep sewing. Make sure you sew about 1 inch away from the slits, and do not forget you must have lined your skirts before you start this ruffling process. Okay, so here, and we'll add another layer now. Adding the next layer, okay, you're going to move the first one you added to one side and place it about ½ inch or 1 inch next to the first ruffle. Now, if you're doing ½ inch, it's going to be very close and it will be very full. So the fabric underneath will not show at all. That's the white fabric. So the closer the better. So you can just do ½ inch close to the next one. Okay. So this is it. I've attached the second one. Okay. So the third one too, the same thing. You move the ruffle like that and sew, in the middle, and you keep adding the ruffles. Now, this is it. You keep adding the ruffles on the front like that, okay, till you finish the front. Okay, this is what the front will terminate here. This is for the last layer for the front, to go that way. For the back, okay, what you do is you're going to leave 1 inch zipper allowance, okay, and then you start arranging the ruffles from here all the way around down like that. Then you keep arranging in a circular form like that till you're done. You repeat the same process for the other side of the back. Okay, you sew, and do not also forget to remove your zipper allowance. So the ruffling should start like 1.5 inch away from the edge there. So you keep attaching it in a circular manner like that, okay, till you're done. And trust me, it's going to come out really, really beautiful. Okay, so like I said, don't forget, the closer the fuller. Okay, I am going to use more too. So I hope you learned something from this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching.